for it. So
I should have written a script, frankly.
nah, you don't really need a script. Then if you do, then you can just post it as a blog, I guess. I don't know.
People tell us, you're pausing too much.
Psh, but that's the nature of like talking to each other.
Yes, it should be, certainly.
Yeah, I don't know. All the anonymity of the internet makes people into assholes. It's a given. So I guess we'll just go for it. Alright, judging by the fact that there's so many delays this holiday season, what do you make of it?
What do I make of it?
Yeah, like, because there's a lot of delays this year. There's been pushback of like Bioshock 2, Bayonetta, what else is there?
Oh yeah, I can't even remember how many games have been delayed.
Yeah, I know, there's been so much. Like, I don't remember games ever being delayed this much.
But I think people still complain about it too much.
It's true. Yeah, because, they were released, especially like Splinter Cell Conviction. I mean, I have to complain about that. Come on. That game has been, scrapped, redesigned, and then post for, okay, we're going to release it this time, delayed again, and then...
I guess that one's... Yeah, that's like the biggest surprise, really. Yeah, it looks on track to become the next 2 Human, right?
What, Splinter Cell?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, like 10 years...
The game that, like, jumps 3 different platforms.
Well, it didn't really, 2 Human changed a lot of publishers, but Splinter Cell Conviction doesn't have that problem. It's just, they're like, okay, we're gonna design the game like this, but we don't like it like that, so we're gonna start from the scratch again. So that was the deal with Splinter Cell.
Yeah, whatever, just give us White Knight Chronicles already.
Yeah, that I don't realize why there's delay for that, because they already made that. It's already released in Japan. It's been like a year now, so like what would take them so long? I don't know what they would work on, but...
Well, that does have level 5 listed as a publisher, right?
No, as far as I know, like all the level 5 titles, like when they go international, it's other publishers, like White Knight Chronicles is Sony publishing.
Okay, well, but I mean someone's dealing with the localization, because I'm just saying they would have had some kind of hand in Professor Layton taking forever as well.
Yeah, Professor Layton is Nintendo's fault, but... so... Like, level 5, they don't have publishing capability outside of Japan, because they're such a small publisher, developer studio. But maybe Sony thinks there would be better time to release White Knight Chronicles, because I guess this holiday season is not the right time.
Everyone's saying that. Oh, it's not the right time. Like, there's going to be some better time. Like, March isn't going to be the biggest month ever instead of November.
Yeah, it's going to be the most crowded spring ever. Next year. It's going to be crazy. Like God of War 3, Final Fantasy 13 is probably going to release. Well, at least, yeah.
Probably. Yeah, it's
maybe.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. But there's so many titles that are going to be released on spring. So the spring is going to be the next, like, what our holiday was supposed to be, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Sucks for anyone who's importing, though, because they, like, jacked up the price of the latest Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I saw that. What is it, like $95 in translation to US dollars?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, their prices are usually high, but it's usually more like 75 or something. I mean, what did they do with that?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a big hype for that game, I guess, so yeah. Oh, you're also saying, I remember you saying, like, this whole, like, delay strategy is more of a marketing thing. It can be, because you had an interesting take on this. I remember.
Well, let's get into that then.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I would say that everyone accepts it as logical that everyone out there wants to release their games during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays are this big selling season, but I'm saying releasing it there is kind of everyone's plan. Mm-hmm. But what if they just want to say that they're releasing the game in November? People will be willing to believe that it's all just a marketing ploy from the beginning, and that even a lot of publishers aren't, like, we're not ever planning to release the game during November. They just want to set a release date there initially, use that time frame as basically a tool to build hype for the game over the months leading up to it. Just when it's about to come out, oh, it's delayed.
Right.
Why it would happen, it's never comes out as unexpected. But the question is whether someone could actually intentionally use this so that they set that release date, let all this marketing and hype build up for the game, and then at the last minute move the game out of that crowded period so it has a better chance of selling on its own, and yet maybe this was a game that never would have sold without that hype it got from being a holiday title originally.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of it like that because it sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Everything's a conspiracy, but then it all kind of goes down to we have this notion that everything's released during the holidays, everything's rushed for the holidays or whatever, and just I don't think that's true either.
Yeah, but it makes sense though. I mean, when you like publish, okay, we're gonna announce the game this time, but then you delay it at the last minute, that like throws the game, like it throws the name of the game. It like if it's not
Right. Well, it all depends on whether the delay will be enough to make us lose interest when it's like 6 months later or something.
Yeah, but you can always, that game will now be in our minds, and then we lose interest, and then it'll pop up again. Like it'll, a lot of delays kind of work like that. Metal Gear Solid 4, although Kojima was he said he was disappointed that this is the first Metal Gear game to be delayed, but it got delayed, and then everyone's like, oh my god, lost interest, and then come like April or May, there's all this like marketing hype for Metal Gear Solid 4 again. So I think can be a resurge of marketing after delay. So that wasn't that like kind of your argument about how the whole delay thing could be a marketing thing.
Yeah, there's this resurgence, but inherent in all of it is that we are still looking forward to the game. So it's like it comes up again, and we're all like, hey, I remember that game. It's like I was thinking of checking that out during the holidays, but I bought that one big game, and I've been playing multiplayer for a while, and about now, maybe I'm willing to look into something new, but if it had come out then, I may have just overlooked it entirely and forgotten about it.
Well, personally, I'm actually really glad for this holiday's delays, because too many games in the holidays has been like a trend that's been it's been too prevalent all these times, I think.
I thought of a new thing in that releasing all the games at just one time a year, whenever it is, I'd say it's good for the gamers, but bad for the publisher.
Why is that?
They're the ones that need to get like the game releases staggered out so that each one has a good chance of selling on its own, since all the sales come out during the first month or whatever. I mean, it might be bad for them if they can't get more sales for it, but it's always good for us because earlier the game comes out, the easier it will be to find some time down the road when say
That's
the game was released in November and now there's nothing released in February. It's like, well, hey, now I can catch up with it.
But I think like the average gamers, they actually really care about what's new, what's hot right now. So I don't know how many gamers out there like actually wait until the price of the game is down to like $20.
Yeah, that's the problem with people. But then you have so many people complaining about like, oh, there are so many games this holiday, I'm going to spend so much money, and then maybe they don't spend that money.
Exactly.
And they can be smart enough to know that, okay, a few months later, it'll be easier on my wallet to buy a new game then, and I'll go and look back to the holiday titles.
Yeah, so that if gamers actually think like that, then it would be great if like all the games were released at the same time.
Multiplayer, really. Multiplayers, everyone's pushing for that because multiplayer is this thing where, you have to get in right at the beginning. You can't fall behind. This great single-player experience comes out. It's kind of easier to have that
later on, yeah.
Yeah, it's just sitting around and kind of get back to it.
So I think that pretty much covered our delay topic pretty good, or unless you have more to say.
Yeah, the big thing is that releasing all the games at one time a year could never, it really shouldn't be considered a bad thing.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't matter. Might as well have the games out and, more. We want to say, oh yeah, everything's out in November, and then there's this whole like drought the rest of the year. And regardless of whether or not that changes with this next year, and it certainly seems like it will be.
What sucks though? What sucks is if you're like a independent game journalist reviewer or whatever that has to review the new games, like I don't know, like Joe used to do that, and that would suck if there's like all these games you have to review because you have to play all of them at one time.
That's bad for them. I don't know. Who knows if they might not get the games at all kind of different times. They always get it at least a month early, so maybe there's so many titles for the holidays. Maybe they get some of them even earlier than that.
Yeah, that's true.
Have enough time for it. Just regardless of how the release schedule pans out, you don't have to follow the retail schedule. You follow your own schedule. It's like 10 games come out in November. Like, well, okay, I buy one in November, and then I buy one each month until the next November.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's a big release every month now. Why stick to their schedule?
Yeah, if gamers can do that, that'd be great. I do that. I'm still playing like PS2 games released, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And it's great. It's like $3. You go to GameStop and it's like $3 or $4. It's ridiculous. So I do that. So, if people can do that, then delays would be actually like releasing everything at the same time would actually be really good. And then when summertime comes, you have all these games at low bargain prices.
It's complicated, but I mean, in the end, it just makes us all hypocrites when we all complain about how much you're going to spend in November, then we buy 5 games and spend the money anyway, and next year comes around and we're back to complaining about it.
Yeah, well, that's the internet. People like talking about, games that are out now or going to be out now, and we get excited and get in the hype train and whatnot, and we just get sucked into it.
Yeah, it makes sense. In some ways, games are supposed to be getting better over time, so we always need to look. We always need to focus on what's new, but then just don't forget about what's come before.
Yep, good point.